And that's what you would do, isn't it? I mean, you'd get into the child's bed and you'd remember all the things you loved about them. ABC News did a great job with that interview. We appreciate them letting us run that clip. But the emotion that you feel when you watch that story and you feel that story and you feel all the stories that we've all been going through for the past 72 hours relate directly to what we're going to talk to our next guest about. Dr. Mark Siegel is here. He's part of our medical A-team here at Fox News. And there's something in us that makes us need to hear those stories, right? And it's terrible and it's hard. And, I'm tearing up listening to it. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers are too. But you want people to know that that's not necessary. We can't do too much of that. It's still very early, but we can't do too much of that. Why?
Megyn, we have deep emotional centers in our brain that we get from our animal forebears, and we have to watch what emotions go through that. And inevitably, if we watch TV, we're going to get certain emotions. Now, we heard Trace Gallagher give this amazing report about the courage of the principal and teacher. That gives us courage to hear that. And now we hear this parent that lost a child, and you and I are sitting here thinking we have young children, and it's the most important thing in our lives. We need empathy for that mother. We don't need fear. We need empathy. We need to care about her and have compassion for her. And that's what we need to teach our children. We need to teach them courage, empathy, caring, not fear. Because statistically, the chances of it happening, thank God, to one of our children is extremely low.
That's the thing you have to remember. Even in the wake of this, the odds of this happening to you or your family are infinitesimal.
I'll give you the statistics. Homicides to school-aged children only occur around schools less than 1% of the time. But here's another thing. Elizabeth Phelps, a researcher at NYU, put people in front of a video camera and measured MRIs of the brain. And she found that if you're watching a video of someone being hurt like this, you have the same reaction in your brain as if it were happening to you. That's why we have to limit the amount of contact that our children have with these images.
And that we have with these images potentially. I mean, if you as the dad or I as the mom come home with all of this on us, kids are perceptive. They feel it. They say sort of like, when mom's in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood. And so you have to watch that.
So true. If we worry, they worry. If we're calm, they're calm. If we come home talking about that principle, they're going to understand courage. Mm-hmm. We of course have to feel for the victims. And then there's the issue of the survivors. There's going to be a very high incidence of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, what about that? I mean, they're going to have post-traumatic stress. Is the nation going to have a little post-traumatic stress?
We have more control over that than those children do. Those children will have it. They will feel lonely. They will feel sad. They will feel angry. They won't be themselves for a long time. Survivors of Columbine have said they're never themselves. They still have flashbacks. They still can't see violent images. But the nation can control what we have because it is not our children. Mm-hmm. We can feel compassion and caring, but it is not our children. And as long as it is not, we can limit the amount of post-traumatic stress we have. There's a phenomenon called vicarious traumatic stress disorder. We can get it from watching too much of this.
How important is it now in the wake of something like this for people to remember, here we are in a Christmas season, Hanukkah as well, the influx of positive energy, of positive stories, of things that just make you feel good. It's the Christmas season. My husband and I watched White Christmas over the weekend. It's just something light that makes you smile, makes you feel good. How important is that right now?
Huge. And I think the caring that has come out of this already, the pastor up there and the rabbi, the way they're bringing people together, the love that's come, the outpouring of caring and concern from the U.S., the President of the United States' reaction to this, all of the reactions on a positive note of compassion and caring coming into the Christmas season, the Hanukkah season. That's what we need.
It's like you can't skip right past the grief. You can't do that because then nothing will change. Then we won't look at anything. We won't take a close look at how this happened. But then you have to move on from it.
Well, Megyn, I want to say this is a series of terrible personal tragedies. It is not a national tragedy. It is a personal tragedy for any parent.
I don't know about that, Doc. I don't know about that.
Well, it's a national tragedy in the sense that we're mourning for them.
Well, in a sense that it just seems like the world got a little darker on Friday. I mean, I know what you're saying. It didn't happen to us. We didn't lose children, thank God. But the fact that there is such I don't even know if I want to say evil. I don't know whether this young man was evil or just so disturbed that he did an evil thing and went to an evil place. I don't know. That's for the psychiatrist to figure out. But well, I mean, it just seems like we lost a little bit of ourselves somehow on Friday. a red line was crossed, as Dr. Adlow said, that just we didn't think could be crossed.
Well, Megyn, in terms of mental health for a second, there are many people out there with this kind of psychiatric disturbance, though we don't have a lot of the facts yet. Schizophrenia or delusional system, whatever he had, it was a pretty bad mental illness, it looks like. And there are plenty of people out there with those conditions that are not committing crimes like this.
Most of them. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. Dr. Siegel, thanks for being here.
Thank you.